One of the main reasons why I love WNL is because to me it feels like family and it feels like home.
I could sense immediately that this was a great place, a great community, and a very friendly community.
The honor system is something that really is implicit. Professors entrust their students with taking exams on their honor in timed settings even.
The honor system is also about inclusivity, not just ensuring that we're not going to steal or cheat or lie.
Every single student here respects that and holds themselves and each other to that standard of integrity.
There's such a diversity of both students and opinions here. Not only can you find a place, but I really think that there is a place for anyone here.
You're surrounded by people who inspire you, who respect you, and who know and believe in your ability to succeed.
People are not only willing to share their opinions and back them up, but they're willing to hear other people out and to try to understand where they're coming from.
The professors actually want to get to know you outside of the classroom as an individual, as a person.
We stay in touch as faculty with our students over the years and get invited to their weddings. So there's just this closeness in the community that continues even after people graduate.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Jordan LaPointe, and I'm a 2017 grad and current admissions counselor here, and I will be moderating the discussion tonight. We are live in the journalism department's news studio in Reed Hall, where we film our weekly Rockridge report. And tonight we're going to be talking about the first year experience at Washington and Lee from some diverse perspectives, as well as answering questions from you, the audience. And tonight we've actually assembled a really amazing panel of current students with a variety of backgrounds and interests. And without further ado, let's meet the panelists. So guys, if you could give me your name, your year, your hometown, and then your majors and minors, that'd be great.
Hi, my name is Sawera. I'm a sophomore. I'm from Atlantic City, New Jersey. I'm majoring in politics. I'm also pre-med, and I have minors in poverty studies and Middle East South Asia studies.
My name is James Ricks. I'm a sophomore as well, from Seattle, Washington, and I'm also pre-med. My major is English and my minor is poverty studies.
My name is Vincent. I'm originally from Ghana, but I live in Atlanta, Georgia currently, and I'm a biochemistry major.
My name is Hannah Denham. I'm a junior. I'm from Mobile, Alabama, and I'm a journalism major and a women's gender and sexuality studies minor.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here. And so we're going to start out with an easy question. How did you first learn about Washington and Lee, and what were the reasons you applied and then enrolled? So we can start with you, Sawera, if you want.
So I learned about WNL through Crossbridge. It's basically a high school program that matches you with a college that will pretty much gives you matches 100% financial need. I did not apply for match, but I applied for the Johnson Scholarship, and I was invited to come here in April. I came here. I was not really sure if I wanted to go here yet, but I got the scholarship. I visited again on Admitted Students Day, and I matriculated.
I found WNL by looking up, the best liberal arts schools. And then also applied for the Johnson. Got the chance to visit during the competition weekend. Really loved it, and all the people I got to meet. Was lucky enough to receive it, and now here we are.
So just like her, I learned about WNL through the Crossbridge program. And for me, the deciding factor was mainly based on finances, since I'm a low-income student. So I got matched to WNL, got a full ride. It's a great school, so I was like, why not?
Yeah, I first learned about WNL through an email that my dad forwarded me about the Johnson Scholarship and said, hey, seems like a big deal, you should look into this school. WNL is kind of a standout school for me in terms of the other places that I applied to, because it was the only private liberal arts school. So I applied to the Johnson and visited the same weekend that I found out I was a finalist, and then really fell in love with the campus.
All right, awesome. So I guess on a related note, a really important factor in today's college kind of application and selection process is financial aid. So can you guys talk a little bit about your respective financial aid processes and how they worked out for you?
Yeah, so like I said, I applied through Prospective/Johnson, and Prospective is for low-income, high-achieving students. After I got the Johnsons, that was pretty much a deciding factor for me. I was deciding between WNL and another school that had also given me a full ride, so financial aid was a big part, and it's one of the main reasons I chose WNL.
Yeah, financial aid for me was also really the deciding factor as well among other schools I was looking at. And because of the aid I received at WNL, it's really freed me up, in terms of worrying about my finances to focus more on my school.
So for me, WNL is one of the few Questbridge schools that offers 100% grant need. So that was a major deciding factor for me. And so once you become a Questbridge match or a Questbridge scholar, you have a guaranteed financial aid package year to year, regardless of your income change. So that's how it's worked out for me for the past couple of years, and it's still going just like that for now.
Yeah, the Johnson Scholarship is a big reason why I'm here. Out of the 8 or so schools that I applied to, WNL was the only private school and had the most expensive tuition, but also offered me the most financial aid. So it was a given for me to come here.
Right, awesome, yeah. Coincidentally, I was a Johnson Scholar as well. Really amazing opportunity. And I believe our Johnson Scholars just found out this past Friday if they're going to be coming to campus. So if you've been invited, please come. We'd love to have you. Yeah. So next question. WNL really kind of prides itself on community service and kind of focusing on the community and the ways that its students can kind of improve Lexington/the Rockbridge area. Can any of you guys speak about your service projects, if any, that you're involved in?
I'm currently a Bonner Scholar, and what Bonner is about is a community service leadership advocacy group. And what I do with Bonner is I volunteer at a variety of sites. I serve as a tutor for ESL, which is English speakers of other languages. I mostly tutor at Fairfield Elementary School and also at the local high school, Rockbridge County High School. And I also volunteer at our local hospital, which is the Stonewall Jackson Hospital.
Yeah, I'm also a Bonner Scholar, but there are countless other ways to get involved in community service beyond being a Bonner. Sawera, James and I were just talking about a trip that we led to Greensboro, North Carolina during the pre-orientation period of this year in the fall. And that's a really great program called the Volunteer Venture Program, where incoming students have the chance to go on a week-long service trip and make really meaningful connections with fellow students and the communities in which they engage. And so I really love that. And it's a good transition into the Shepherd program and into what it means to serve in the local community here in Lexington.
Awesome. Well, we have a quick question from a student asking for tips for middle-class students who don't qualify for a lot of financial aid and what they should do. And I can, as an admissions counselor, I can speak on that a little bit. I encourage you, please apply for need-based financial aid. The financial aid office here is really, really great. They're headed by Jim Castor. And as Vincent was saying, we meet 100% of demonstrated need without loans. We've got a $1.6 billion annual endowment, so we can really afford to meet families where they are. We also have the WNL Promise that guarantees at least tuition for any family that makes $100,000 or less. So even if you don't think that you're going to qualify for a lot of aid, I still encourage you to have that conversation with the financial aid office. You give them a call, email them, and they're really, really awesome. Alrighty. So for our students interested in math and science that kind of want to know about research and access to those opportunities here, are any of you guys involved in research? And if so, how did you get that opportunity?
So I did research with Dr. Eric Offelman. He works on mainly 17th century Dutch art paintings and the chemistry of those paintings, so analyzing them, analyzing the pigments, the chemistry of those pigments to see like which time periods they came from or which artists they can be attributed to. I got involved because I went on a spring term abroad trip to the Netherlands, and we went through to multiple conservation labs in museums in the Netherlands, and I was very interested, so I decided to do research with them.
That's awesome.
So even though WNL is relatively a small school compared to most bigger institutions, research is very big on campus, especially in the sciences. Before I even matriculated, to become a full-time WNL student, I got a chance to come here the summer before my freshman year as an advanced research scholar, which is one of the many researchers opportunities that are available to incoming first years. And the summer after that, I also got a chance to be part of the summer research scholarship we have on campus, which is also another option. And there are a variety of ways where you can come up with your own projects, apply for several different grants, like the Johnson Opportunity Grants, and we also have several other grants with the Center for Global Learning, which you can apply for to do research abroad, to do research on campus, to do research domestically, or to pursue any interests of your choice.
Yeah, so I'm doing that this summer actually, through both the Shepherd program and in conjunction with the Center for Global Learning. I'm able to go back to Nepal where I spent my gap year and do some research there with some folks that I'm really excited to connect with. So yeah, lots of opportunities here.
It's funny that James said that because I'm also going to Nepal this summer. We didn't know. To do research, actually not do research, to do an internship at a self-help group for cerebral palsy. But to go back to research opportunities, so like Vincent said, the Johnson Opportunity Grant, there's also another one called the Johnson Endeavor Grant, where you have one international student and one U.S. student, and they both go back to the international student's home country and do a program there. So I went with my roommate who's from Pakistan, and we did research on traditional medical practices in Pakistan. So you don't necessarily have to do it with a professor on campus. You can create your own plan and go and have that funded and do research on that as well.
Adding to that, I'll also be going to Ghana this summer, so it's a lot of us going abroad. And
I like it.
Also, even if you don't have time or you have other plans during your summer, you can still do research during the school year through the independent research or directed individual study programs you have on campus. And these mostly count as for credit, but you still get the chance to work with a professor on campus.
Okay, cool. So I know several of us have been Johnson Scholars, and with the Johnson Scholarship, you have that $7,000 that you can use during the summer. Have you guys used that money yet? Are you waiting to use it? I know you have 4 years to kind of spend it.
I'm about to use some of mine right now, actually. So it's really flexible too, which is nice. You don't have to use it just during the summer. And so during the Washington break in February, this month actually now, I kind of had some downtime, and so I contacted a doctor over at UVA. And I'm going to use some of that money to stay in Charlottesville for a couple days and shadow a pediatrician. So yeah, it's real flexible, just kind of saving the bulk of it for next summer though.
Mm-hmm. Right. Awesome.
Yeah, I've used some of it. Like I said, I went abroad spring term last year to the Netherlands, and it was only for a month, but sometimes the cost can be a bit overbearing, so I used some of my funds for spring term.
Okay, cool. And then we have a student kind of asking about independent research, and you guys kind of alluded to that earlier. But yeah, and research isn't limited by majors, right? You can kind of do it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So the school really kind of stresses the power that it kind of gives students to get involved and kind of pursue the different passions as we were talking about. So kind of outside of research that you've done, how have you kind of been able to get involved on or off campus? And what, if anything, have you learned from those activities?
I find myself saying yes to too many things because the great part about being part of a small community is that there are so many ways to get engaged in a really authentic way. So I'm a section editor for the Ringtone 5. That's our independent student newspaper on campus. I'm involved in leadership. with English for Speakers of Other Languages, a service program. I'm a Bonner intern. I'm involved with Amnesty International as well, just to name a few, but some diverse interests in a way that you have the opportunity to meet different groups of people in a really, really cool way.
I'm also part of our student association for Black Unity, which most schools call the Black Student Union, and I happen to be the social chair for that. And I'm also the president for African Society. So those are the places I spend most of my time with extracurricularly.
Yeah, aside from the places we've talked about so far, I do some work at Friday Night Underground, which is called Fudge. If any of y'all get to visit campus, you should come and check it out. It's a venue run by students for local student artists, so everything from music to poetry. This Friday we're actually having a haiku death match. And so I'm involved in leadership there, and it's a really cool space to get involved.
Yeah, really amazing program. Didn't have it when I was like a freshman or a sophomore, but definitely a nice addition that we've kind of brought in. And they've actually released a few albums for students. So if you're interested in kind of dropping a mixtape or an EP or an album or something, it's definitely a place to be. Yeah, thanks for that. So let's talk a little bit about the academic advising system here, because I know a lot of students are interested in that. So can you guys explain a little bit how it works your first year and kind of what your relationship has been like with your advisor/advisors if you have more than one?
So my advisor is Dr. Alti. She's the head of the pre-med department, which doesn't really exist, but like the pre-med department. I requested her to be my advisor because I knew that she had dealt with like pre-med students before, and I got her. I'm a politics major now, so my advisor is from the politics department, but I can still go and talk to Dr. Alti whenever I need because I am still pre-med, and I also have advisors for each of my majors. So you can really just ask any professor to be your advisor, and also like you're not, even if you get randomly matched with an advisor, you don't necessarily have to stay with that advisor for all your 4 years.
That's a pretty good rundown, yeah.
Yeah, I think for your first year, you're matched to an advisor based on your interest or based on your academic interest. Like she said, she was matched to Dr. Alti because she chose her with the pre-med. But once you declare your major, then you get to choose which professor you truly want to be your advisor for the rest of your 4 years or whether you want to switch it.
And I guess trying to just to give the alum perspective, those relationships with your advisors continue after you graduate as well. So I'm going to be going to law school in the fall, and throughout the past year and a half, I've been in pretty consistent contact with the pre-law advisor, Dr. Olin, who's been really amazing, helping walk me through the process, even as a graduate of the school, and kind of what I need to do, the places I should be looking at. But it's a really personalized process, and it's great that at a small school like this, even when you're technically not a student anymore, the administration is still willing to kind of devote resources to what you want to do or what you're interested in. So always good there. Any perspective on the C school, the business school? Have you guys taken any classes there? If not, I can go into
Introduction to Economics. That was my only time taking a business class, so it was interesting.
The closest thing I've taken was, well, some journalism courses and politics courses kind of converge. And then last semester I took a reporting on business class. And so it was kind of split down the middle in terms of half journalism students and half business administration students. So it was really interesting, sort of the learning curve for both, because I had to learn how to read like a 10K, and they had to learn journalistic style, and so yeah, it was a really interesting course taught by a journalism professor.
Yeah, the C school is really awesome. Contrary to popular or opinion, you don't have to directly apply into the Williams School in order to get in. You just take, like any class, any major here, you just take classes in that major or minor. Once you have enough credits for that degree, then you're getting that degree. But it really is awesome, whatever you're interested in. Every year we have an annual entrepreneurship summit that's open to the students in the C School as well as any other student to meet with alumni, professionals in the area, to do some networking, exchange ideas, things like that. We've got an annual pitch competition as well, which is essentially Shark Tank, but for our school, where students are pitching ideas, students and alumni actually, and getting possibly thousands of dollars in prizes to get for those. I know actually one of my friends, I don't know if you guys knew, Bella Sparhawk, she had a patent since high school for coding on airplanes to help them use fuel more efficiently, and she was a runner-up. Don't know she didn't win that one, but wasn't a judge. But really, really amazing opportunities here if you want to do student consulting, investment, finance, accounting, all of that. So pretty good there. Alrighty. So I guess kind of taking a little bit of a turn. Some students have kind of expressed concern about coming to a liberal arts school in the South. And for those of you who aren't from the South, how has it been attending a school in Virginia?
Big change. Culture shock was very real for a little bit.
And you're from Seattle?
Yeah, I'm from Seattle, right. So a little bit different than up in the Northwest. I mean, there have been parts of it that have been more difficult to get used to, but I mean, one of the things that I really liked when I came here was that the student body as a whole is really approachable and really open. You can attribute that to what you will, the speaking tradition or what have you. But overall, positive experience. There's still some rough edges, maybe. I mean, for instance, a few weeks ago we had an incident at Fudge that where there was some disparaging remarks said. But I mean, the flip side of that is that we were able to have a conversation about it. And Hannah actually wrote a piece for the Ringtum Phi about the event. And I've had really good conversations on campus with people about that event. And people are really interested in, being welcoming, I think, overall. So, I mean, not without its challenges, but, a good experience nonetheless.
I guess on a related note, for those of you guys who are involved in kind of equity and inclusion clubs or committees, do you find a majority of the campus to be open to inclusion-centered activities and kind of initiatives, and kind of what's been your experience with that?
Yeah, so I'm involved in Amnesty International. It takes a big amount of my time outside of schoolwork, and we focus on human rights violations and everything. I would say that most of campus is very open to talking about their issues. There's obviously some people who aren't going to be, but that's not just WNL. It's going to be like that at every school. You just need to find your own community and who you relate to, basically.
And I guess in that note, I'm always kind of reminded of the Committee on Institutional History and Engagement that we had. So what was Charlottesville like? A year and a half ago? It's been a minute. It's felt like forever. But upon that, the university actually brought together members of the board, faculty, current students, alumni, to figure out and kind of get together and kind of figure out how the school could become a more inclusive community and kind of steps that we can take together to kind of represent the values that we claim to kind of, I guess, value and promote. And so from that, it was a really long process, meeting with current students, meeting with alumni, meeting with members of the faculty and members of the community to kind of see how we can move forward as a community. And from that, the committee actually released a whole bunch of recommendations on things that the school could do to kind of take steps forward, a few of which have been taken already. We're currently on the search for a director of institutional history, which is really great. We renamed a couple of buildings on campus, Robinson Hall to Chavis Hall, and then, what was it? The Jackson House to, I forget what the name is.
The Simpson House.
The Simpson House for the first female faculty member to get tenure at the university. So still having some active conversations there, but it's kind of, I think it's good to kind of see the school engaging with current students, alumni, people that clearly care about the university to see how we can kind of move forward there. But still got a ways to go. Alrighty, cool. Let's look at some student questions. Alrighty. Fun school traditions.
Streaking the colonnade. I hate for that to be the first one. But for those of you watching who don't know, WNL was the site of the first documented streaking incident. Check the Wikipedia page in this school, it's true.
On the map.
And so it's a little hairier now because of how there's a colonnade cam that is live streaming the colonnade at all times, but for the adventurous, you can reenact the incident.
Or look for the colonnade cat.
Yeah.
Also, not walking through the columns in Granley, so like the entire school was bricks and columns, but the main columns into campus are through Granleys, and mainly people walk through like the left side, and you can see like the impact of how many people have stepped on it because it's like caved in a bit. If you walk through the main columns, you fail your next test. So.
Haven't walked through them to this day, and I'm not even a student anymore.
So I think fancy dress is a big tradition on campus. So fancy dress is basically our college prom, and I think it's a week-long festivity-ish. So we usually have big artists coming on campus. A couple of years ago, we had T-Pain. Fingers crossed as to who's coming this year. And then we have a big fancy dress event where we have a live performance from bands and stuff.
Yeah, usually pretty good. Wale's come, Juicy J came.
Oh, Juicy
ASAP
J.
Ferg, yeah. Juicy J came my freshman year. It was awesome. All right, cool. Yeah, and fancy dress has grown to the point where like there are alumni fancy dresses as well, which you guys will see. There's one in Richmond, they have it like in New York, DC, but it really is like prom on steroids, and everyone, they eat it up. All right, cool. Rooming, so for those of you guys who had roommates, did you guys room with someone from like a different background, and if so, what was it like?
I requested my roommate. My roommate and I had similar backgrounds. He's from Nigeria, I'm from Ghana. So it worked out for me. We just talked to each other on Facebook and was like, hey, you want to request each other for roommates, and then we agreed. And it worked out for the best.
I did random match, but I got matched with an international student from Pakistan who I was talking about earlier, and I'm from Jersey, but I was born in Pakistan, so it worked out really great because we had the same backgrounds and we were able to relate to each other. And just also like, if she needed help with anything, I could help her and vice versa. And we're also living together this year, so it worked out great.
I requested my roommate as well, but we had met probably for about 5 minutes when we both visited the school. So unbeknownst to me, we were both quite different. But that's not to say it was really bad either. It was a lot of fun. We're still really good friends this day.
All right, cool. So could you guys, I guess, talk a little bit about student life? What does a typical weekend look like for students, typical weekday? Just a day in the life, I guess.
So I guess I'd talk about this past weekend. I don't want to start with Friday, I'll start with Saturday. So all Saturday I pretty much spent in the Center for Global Learning. There's multiple study spots around campus, but I feel like the CGL is a really nice spot. I stayed on the balcony for a little bit just doing work, and then went to Tucker. And then on Saturday I went to Bollywood Night, which is an event that the Student Association for International Learning has, and there was like a dance workshop, Indian food, Hindi tattoos, and it was super fun. And also like there's parties, there's fudge, you can basically do anything.
Yeah, so Friday, fudge was a lot of fun. Going into Saturday, spent a good amount of the day studying, but I think I went to a friend's house off campus that evening. And then Sunday was my friend's birthday, so we actually went to House Mountain, which is nearby, and did a sunset hike. If y'all want to follow me on Instagram, it's jrixiv. I posted a picture, it's really pretty.
Do it.
Yeah. But I mean, there's lots of stuff to do on campus as well as off, is I guess what I'm trying to get at. really beautiful area here in the Shenandoah Valley.
Can you guys talk a little bit about the outing club as well?
Yeah, I am a member of the outing club. They have lots of trips that are regularly planned. It's run by students for the most part, and the trips are all super fun. They range from pretty low-key, like evening hikes, to, you know, week-long trips to places like the Everglades during Feb break, for instance. So it's really nice. You pay a membership fee once, and then you get access to all the, you know, trips and resources that they have the rest of your time here as a student. And it's nice also because your level of involvement can be like as low-key as going on a hike every once in a while, you know, to being like part of the student leadership and spending more time off campus than on, probably doing lots of crazy cool stuff. So yeah, it's a really, really good resource on campus.
Yeah, and Hannah talked about volunteer venture as a pre-O trip, which the three of us were leaders on. The outing club also has a pre-orientation trip where you do a week-long hike on the Appalachian Trail. So, for those of you that want.
So apart from all the outdoor stuff, on the weekends we have big parties. I thought to just swing that in. We have our fraternities on campus, where we have a lot of parties here and there, from Friday night to Saturday night, getting wasted. 48 hours?
Allegedly.
24? Yeah. And then, once you get over your hangover, after Friday or Sunday, we have a delicious brunch in the D Hall, which is my favorite. So Sunday brunch, Saturday brunch, you don't want to miss those. So just.
Yeah, also it's been really cold recently with the whole polar vortex thing. So Sunday was actually beautiful. It was really warm. A lot of students were outside. And a common thing to do when it's warm for once is people study on the lawn of the colonnade. It's really pretty. I knew I couldn't study there Sunday because I would see friends and be distracted. But I walked to downtown Lexington and found a spot to sit, got some coffee from a local gelato place called Pronto, and did my politics reading, and it was a really nice day.
Also, to add to that, if that is not your thing, partying is not your thing, we have a lot of different other options. He mentioned Friday Night Underground, which is on Fridays, and we also have the Hop, which is on Saturdays. We have gaming activities, board games, and free food. And I think last week or something, they had a gaming event in the president's house, which was fun. Yeah.
VR nights every now and then too, which are pretty cool. Yeah. All right, awesome. Well, we have some questions about Greek life. Are any of you guys involved in Greek life? Oh, okay. So I guess I can speak a little bit about Greek life, but you guys can talk about a little bit the student world outside of the Greek system.
Yeah. So I guess the term is independent if you're not affiliated with a Greek organization. And so Rush on campus is a little different because it's delayed, which I appreciated because I knew coming in that I didn't necessarily want to be part of a Greek organization, but I was lucky because I was able to make my friends first outside of that, especially that first semester. And so I never felt like I had any sort of pressure to rush because I had, I made friendships through the organizations that I was getting involved in, through Bonner, through the classes that I was in. And so personally, I've never felt like I lacked any sort of social network because I was able to form those friendships.
Also, the independent community is also very strong. So currently a friend of mine is heading up Bid Little, which is basically independent Bid Little. So you get matched with an independent bid who can like guide you through the process. So even if you're not part of a sorority, you can still take part in some traditions. And also we have, outside of like fraternity parties, we also have independent parties. Like I know there was one at Sankofa this past weekend, which is super fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, and I guess I'm the only one on the panel who was a part of Greek life. I think it's pretty awesome. I kind of came in not having any kind of preconceptions about what Greek life was like. I kind of just let the wind take me where it did, and I ended up in a Greek organization. Some really, really awesome young men that I still hang out with today. I was just hanging out with some of my brothers this past weekend, then 3 weeks ago as well, and probably gonna be friends for the rest of my life. But yeah, it kind of just depends on what you want to do. One of the big pulls is that the Greek houses are really nice because they're all owned and maintained by the school, and so it's not your typical like animal house where people are like throwing couches outside of windows and you're like sleeping on like a dirty couch or something. It's actually pretty nice, so can't complain there, and the food's usually pretty good. But yeah, it kind of just depends on what you want to do. But there is some really vibrant student life inside and outside of the Greek system, and it's definitely improved over the years. It was amazing to kind of see how much the campus culture had changed from when I was a freshman to when I was a senior, and then now looking at it now as an alumni and employee of the university. All right, cool. Extracurricular activities. So did any of you guys, were any of you guys able to start your own extracurricular activity or club? And if so, how easy or hard was it to manage that?
So I haven't personally, but I know someone who started a Rotaract club here, which is connected with Rotary International. Some people might have heard about it. It's not difficult in just like creating the organization, but getting funding from the executive committee or just like building up a base and getting members can be difficult, but in its own, creating an organization is not difficult.
I have an academic question. So since WNL is a prestigious institution, do you think there's a cutthroat academic environment?
No, very collaborative from the experience I've had so far. I've heard some crazy stories about other, definitely not Ivy League schools, definitely not Harvard, like pre-med stories of people like when there's like an assigned reading at the library, like checking out all the copies of the book to like spite other students in the class. Yeah, crazy,
so mean.
Right? Does not happen here. I mean, won't lie, difficult school sometimes, difficult classes, but we are bonded by our shared experience of going through those tough classes. So like I'm in organic chemistry right now, and there's a dedicated group of students that we all like meet together and go over problem spots that we have and stuff in preparation for tests. So definitely we work together a lot.
Well, even the structure of most of the classes, one of the draws for me was the small class sizes. Like most of my classes, the biggest ones have about 15 students, and so a lot of them are more collaborative or more discussion based. I have very few only lecture classes, and so like sort of the nature of that classroom structure is it would be really difficult to be cutthroat in that sort of situation because you have to be collaborative, you have to like talk with people, and people were really willing to do that. So I've never felt any sort of cutthroat environment here.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the beauties of being at a liberal arts institution in the first place, is that there are so many people doing different majors, minors, so everyone's kind of, as you were saying, James, like everyone's struggling, and that shared struggle brings you together. But at the same time, you really get to meet people that are doing really interesting things in their respective fields, doing interesting research or projects, things like that. And then you also get to do different classes that you may not expect, which force you to kind of adopt different styles of learning and teamwork to kind of do projects, assignments, things like that. So not super cutthroat, but it is hard. But if you're thinking about WNL, you already know that. So, study abroad. Could you guys talk about your study abroad experiences?
So I've been abroad twice so far, and I'm a sophomore, and that's not what I expected when I first got to the school. Like, it was very surprising for me. Like I said, I went to the Netherlands for a spring term. I did research in Pakistan this past summer, and they were both mostly fully funded by the school. And this spring term, I'm taking a religion/econ class in Nepal called Caste at the Intersection of Economics, Politics, and Religion. And then I'm doing my Shepherd internship in Nepal as well.
So adding to that, I thought it would be impossible for me to study abroad since I'm pre-med and I'm a biochemistry major. But like most students, the spring term is what we utilize to study abroad. my freshman year, I got a chance to take an engineering class in London, and the following year, I learned Japanese in Japan. So just a lot of different opportunities for spring term study abroad programs.
Yeah. I've studied abroad twice as well. The Johnson Endeavor program that Sawera was talking about earlier, I went to the summer after my freshman year. I spent a month in Hanoi, Vietnam, with another student who is from there, and we wrote, interviewed sources, and filmed a 22-minute documentary on marriage traditions and gender expectations in Vietnam. And then I got to come back and screen it here on campus, which was definitely like a dream of mine come true. And then after that, this past spring term, my sophomore year, I was in Ghana for a month, thanks to Vincent pointing it out to me. And it was wonderful. It was also a documentary class, but I really enjoyed it. And also, I think it's important to note that there are other opportunities to study elsewhere that aren't necessarily abroad, because some people, for various reasons, aren't able to go abroad, and that's okay. For instance, this term, for spring term, I'm doing the Washington term program, which is 6 weeks in DC, interning. In DC, I'll be working with NBC News, and so that's a domestic opportunity that you can have that's available to people.
I guess from my perspective, I studied abroad for an entire year. My entire junior year, I was in Japan doing a program through Columbia University, but it was really awesome. So you have long-term programs, and you can study abroad for up to 2 years. So it kind of just depends on what you want to do. You can do it for a 4-week spring term, 12 weeks for the fall, the winter, a full year, the summer as well. So the world really is your oyster when it comes to going abroad, and that's as easy as just going into the Center for Global Learning. You can go to the Study Abroad office and just peruse all the brochures they have separated by country, or you can just go to the map and be like, I want to go here, and they'll be like, all right, let's sit down and figure it out. But it really is a great program here. But yeah, Henny, you were talking a little bit about spring terms. Can you guys kind of explain what spring term is for the students that don't know, and kind of expand a little bit about the opportunities available?
Well, I love spring term. The program, it's called like a Maymester at some other schools, if you've heard that term, but basically, you have your fall semester, winter semester, and then when you come back after spring break toward the end of April, you have a 4-week period of just one class, and that's sort of an opportunity for professors to sort of curate this really creative class that kind of breaks the barriers or boundaries of like the regular academic term. And so you just have that one class, and so it depends on the nature of the class in terms of how many days a week you go to class or how long it is. But my freshman year, I took cross-cultural documentary filmmaking, which is the first time I had picked up a video camera. And by the end of the 4 weeks, I had filmed a 10-minute documentary on history tourism in Lexington. And so that's just one example. And yeah, and there are some on campus and other places in the U.S. and abroad. So a lot of opportunities there.
And also an option for spring term is to take a spring option, which you basically, instead of taking a class on campus, you can request to take time off, pursue an internship of choice, go abroad, or basically do anything that you want. This upcoming spring term, I'm taking it off to study for my MCAT, so that's also another option.
Alrighty. So we have a student that kind of wants to know a little bit about the kinds of diversity events and kind of programming that the school has, particularly for Latinx students. But do you guys know of any kind of events that we've done recently or over the past year? I know we recently just came off of kind of our MLK programming that's been going on. And so the school actually is really great about this, but has around 2 weeks of programming dedicated to celebrating the life of Martin Luther King Jr. And so we have different guest speakers come in. I think the past Sunday we had Reverend Barber come, who actually leads, who's currently leading a Poor People's Campaign across the U.S. In Dr. King's honor, come speak. We've had dinners. We have the MLK parade every year as well, and it was really cold this year, but it was worth it. But yeah, that's some stuff. I know for the Latino Student Organization, They've screened Coco in Spanish with English subtitles. I think this past year we also had the first Latinx festival as well that was thrown in the community by someone that I work with or that I volunteer with. That had a bunch of support, but anything coming to mind?
Oh, we also have the Black History Month celebration where we have a lot of events focused on that.
I just talked about Bollywood Night was this past weekend. So the Student Association for International Learning, or SAIL, does these events throughout the year. So they've had Korea Night in the past, they've also had Brazil Night, and basically they just bring in stuff from that culture. They bring in food and just like anybody who has done, any students who've done like research there or like have knowledge about the culture to come speak.
You said the Chinese Lunar New Year as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that was just
Delicious.
a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then PACE does a lot of, they're the Pan-Asian sort of unity group on campus. They do a lot of programming as well, kind of related to the Chinese New Year that just happened at the CGL.
We also have the best event on campus, sponsored by African Society, called Taste of Africa, which is a great time. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
We've got Pride Week as well, through my General's Unity, as well as the Equality Gala, which is always fun. But yeah, kind of stuff throughout the year, mainly centralized around the Office for Inclusion and Engagement that's headed by Dean Tammy and Krisha Townsend, that kind of make sure that with all these events that they're not kind of overlapping on each other, to make sure that there's enough support and space available for this programming throughout the year. But yeah, OIE, really great. MockCon, can you guys talk about that?
Yeah, I'm currently involved in mock convention. So my role is with communications. I'm the reporting videographer, and we're just sort of getting going. We're about exactly a year out from the 2020 convention, and it's really exciting.
And what is MockCon?
Mock convention is it happens every 4 years, and so it predicts the party nominee for the opposite party that's in power. So this upcoming MockCon will be the Democratic convention, and so it works as the national conventions do, in a sense that students are involved every step of the way. It's completely student run, but you'll have state chairs that will they'll vote for nominees based on actual statistics, polling numbers of how their states vote. It's very statistical. And it's usually accurate. 3 years ago, the mock convention at that time accurately predicted Donald Trump would be president, and the presidential nominee for the Republican Party. And that doesn't mean that that's who the people wanted to be necessarily. That's purely voting on how those states vote. And so
not an endorsement.
Yes,
just a prediction.
It's a statistical analysis. Yes. So yeah.
Let's roll out an easy one. Favorite spots to study on campus or off campus?
Science Center 4th floor. I just love it because it's just all the pre-meds struggling together, supporting each other. We have a nice beanbag in the corner where you can just take a nap when you're out of it.
Lots of struggling up there on the 4th floor. Labor's good too, of course. You can check out a carol there at the beginning of the year, which is, yours to suffer at. And then there are lots of different places. I mean, the Colonnade Green is fantastic as well. I'm kind of having to think about whether or not I want to tell people what my favorite ones are, because I don't want them when they come to campus, steal my spot. But
there are some decoy ones.
Yeah. 4th floor Laburn, yeah, great place to be rowdy. That's a joke. It's really silent down there. But yeah, lots of good places.
I like to get downtown. Sometimes I just need to get off campus to think more clearly and have sort of a change of location. So I'll go to Lexington Coffee Shop or Pronto. Or if it's nice outside, I'll sit like on a bench outside.
Okay, double majoring / switching majors. Have any of you guys had experience with that?
Yeah, so when I first came here, I wanted to be a science major. So I was bio and then biochem, because obviously I wanted to be a pre-med. But being involved with events on campus and just like my own personal interests, I decided that I wanted to also learn more about global politics because I wouldn't have any opportunity to do it after I graduated and went to med school. So I switched my major to politics, fairly easy process, and I didn't have to declare my major until I believe last week, which is when I declared politics. And I'm still pre-med in politics, but my experience in changing majors was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought for a bit I would do biochem and English, but then, being here at WNL, I realized there were lots of different kinds of classes that I wanted to take that weren't, strictly English or biochem, and so I actually opted to drop the biochem in exchange for just the English major, so I could focus more on that. And it's been really nice because I have the leeway now to take classes that are outside of, those immediate fields of study. Yeah.
And I was a double major. I came in wanting to do kind of pre-law, so I did global politics. Also happened to grab a Japanese degree as well, so not super related. But yeah, really easy to do. Again, you don't have to apply into any of the programs here, so you just take classes in whatever field you want. Once you have the credits for that, then you're going to be getting that degree, which is again another benefit of being at a resource-rich liberal arts school. All right, we have a quick question from a student wanting to know the more admissions based, but ways that students can kind of show their interest in WNL beyond visiting campus, doing an interview, meeting with admissions, things like that. At this point, if you've done all those things, you're showing a lot of great interest. You've really gone above and beyond. But I mean, if you want to keep us up to date on particular accomplishments, things that you're doing, feel free to send us an email, give us a call. But the most important thing for us is that you kind of come visit campus. This is a really special place. We're kind of tucked away in the mountains, so we want to make sure that if you want to come here, you can kind of see yourself being a student here, interacting with our students. But yeah, if you've done all those things, great. If you want to do more, you always can. All right, cool. So the school has a 3-year on-campus housing policy, and all the first years kind of placed in one of 2 dorms. You're in Gramley's, you're in Gaines, and so I guess kind of digging back with a shift from home to college, how are you kind of able to build a community in your residence hall?
Well, this year it's been really easy because I live in a theme house, so I don't think we've mentioned those quite yet. But theme houses are houses owned by the university, and they each have, a specific theme. And so I'm living in the ARC house, which is like the arts and recreation house. And so all of us applied to be in that house around spring term last year. And so building a community around that, since we all share similar interests, we chose to live in that space together. And so we work together closely on fudge, and yeah, that's been a really good experience so far.
And also during your first year, you have resident advisors, or RAs if you've heard the term, and they're really wonderful resources and care deeply about your transition onto campus and making you feel at home. And they'll plan a lot of events for the hall, or have a pizza and movie night, or some halls go do hikes together on North Mountain and things like that. And so, and they're just a good resource in general if you're feeling homesick or wanting to get plugged in some way. That's why they're there.
Alrighty, cool. I think we're going to do one more question, and then we'll leave you guys to do your homework or whatever. What's your favorite thing? What are your favorite things, I guess, about Lexington and Washington and Lee? And what would you add to make it a more interesting place to live and go to school? Looking back on your years here.
As somebody who lives in Atlanta, coming to Lexington was a big change for me. I do appreciate it in the sense that once I'm in Lexington, I focus on being in Lexington and I focus on being a student. So even though there isn't a lot to do, distractions is minimal, so I'm able to focus on my academics and focus on the most important things. So that's one of the things I liked about Lexington.
Yeah. I would say my favorite thing is we refer to the term as like breaking out of the W&L bubble, but it's in the sense, and sometimes people feel like there's a sort of a divide between the campus and the surrounding Lexington city and the county of the Rockbridge County. I love getting involved, whether that's like eating out downtown or engaging in community festivals or working with service at the local food pantry. Like those are ways in which I feel connected, and I feel like I'm making a home for myself here. And so I wish there were more of that in terms of W&L involvement in the community or vice versa, because I think it's a really wonderful place. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd echo that. Some of the best experiences I've had here so far have been interacting with the community, especially through the different service sites I work at. And I mean, we've mentioned it on and off again throughout this hour, but yeah, we live in a very beautiful area. And so getting outside of the W&L bubble in the vein of, you know, getting off campus, as beautiful as campus is, there's so much to do out there. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of my piece.
Yeah, I just love the fact that the people I've met here, I'm gonna be friends with my whole life. Basically, that's probably my favorite part about it. I don't really know what I would change about Lexington, particularly. Yeah.
Add a Chipotle or something. Or Chick-fil-A.
But also, I like how we have so many trails and hiking, and we have the Woods Creek Trail where you can go on runs. Back when I used to run, I used to enjoy those. But yeah, I like those as well. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here. I really appreciate it. I know the audience really appreciates it as well. But if you guys have any lingering questions, concerns, feel free to email the admissions office at admissions@wlu.edu, or give us a call, leave us a voicemail, 540-458-8710. Again, my name is Jordan LaPointe. You can direct questions to me or to your respective admissions counselor through your GHQ portal. But again, thanks for tuning in.
Oh, also, if you guys want to talk to any of us, admissions can hand out emails to you, and we can have a lot more personal conversation with you.